Play On in partnership with BNZ. Play On!
And I welcome into the studio. This is a special time for me. This is a what would you call it? This is a bit of a coming back together after
full circle moment.
Yeah, many years apart. Nathan Rarere, welcome into the show.
Look at the young fella over there. He's doing well, isn't he?
Done all right there, fella over there.
Look at your house you got.
First time I've been called a young fella for a while. Just considering. So Nate, you join us because during our days of radio sport, back when it was a station, we all had our love of different sports, and you were the only one I knew in my group of friends that loved baseball. But not only baseball, loved Dodgers baseball.
Heck yes, they're my ones. They're my ones. I went. My wife and I went to. We went on a holiday, and I did the classic thing of, we've got to go to an American sports event.
Yeah.
We've got to do that.
Marc, we did that earlier this year.
Yeah,
we had to go to the Yankees.
I was going, okay, we've got to go to something. She's like, yeah, okay. And I bought these tickets off this real dodgy sounding website, and they were $12 each to Dodger Stadium. And we go and we sit up there, and she was like, yeah, we were quite tired before we left, and I said, look, we'll just go for 3 innings, and at least you can say you've been to something, and that's good. She went, yeah, okay. We go in and we get lucky. There's a legend of the Dodgers called Clayton Kershaw. Well, that was his first game as a Dodger, and we go to that, and the crowd was electric, but just the way the whole thing worked. And my wife grew up watching cricket with her dad, and so she's like watching, and she's going, oh, so is that like an outswinger? Oh, they're doing that. And I said at the end of second innings, do you want to go? No, we're going. And that was it. And we were locked in, and then we went away to another place. And on the way back, she figured out, hey, there's actually going to be another Dodgers game on the night before we come home. So she drove across the desert at breakneck speed from Vegas to make it back. So we've just been Dodger hard since then, and I just love them. Love them.
And he's got a collection of some of the finest Dodgers hat, including a Brooklyn. You've got a couple of Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah, a couple of Brooklyns. Yeah, because they were the original New York team. So they're actually older than the Yankees.
So how do you go from Brooklyn on one coast to LA on the other coast?
That same thing where franchises move.
It was that simple.
Yeah, they did, and them and the Giants. So you know how you'll hear sometimes they call them the New York Football Giants, because there used to be the New York Baseball Giants. Yeah. And so the Giants and the Dodgers basically accepted them and the Angels, and they all moved out to California when they were sort of get it going right. And there's a cool bit of trivia. There was a guy called Vin.
Here we go. I like this.
Yeah, called Vin Scully. Vin Scully is the longest running announcer for a team ever. A commentator for a team, right? And he's the old guy that said, it's time for a Dodger of baseball, and that was his thing. He got traded with the team. So he was a young reporter. Yeah, he was a young reporter who'd been doing it for 2 years, and they moved in 1958. So he's in 1956. He retired maybe 5 seasons ago, I think it was. So that's how long he did it for. And I remember his leaving speech was great. They go, what are you going to do now you're retired? And he goes, well, I'm just going to try not to die.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah, but he's it. So it was really cool. And when you're in Dodger Stadium, it's cool because it's quite old. It sort of reminds me of New Zealand of like an old athletic park.
Oh, okay. Now you're talking my language.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's an old, it's not super flash and brand new. Like you go out to Mickey Mouse Stadium in Anaheim and it's very new and very Disney and it looks awesome there as well. But Dodgers is kind of old. It's a real, they started out with a real weird relationship with like the Hispanic population, because where they are in Chavez Ravine, that used to be that was a really like Hispanic area. And originally they played in like the Coliseum, and then they came in and they knocked this one down. And it was the classic case of, the one remaining person who wouldn't leave, someone's
I'm learning
someone's
I'm learning.
And then they come in and they were kind of seen as there was a bit of, not quite sure about these guys, but there was a pitcher, a Mexican guy, Fernando Valenzuela, who has the most unusual delivery ever. And he came out and they put him out to pitch, and he looks wrong. The starting pitcher should look like Shohei Ohtani. He should be tall and like this. And he's this little dude with a gut like mine, and he had this weird pitching action, and no one could hit him. And then all of a sudden, all the Mexicans are like, yeah! So when you go to, it's interesting, in LA, like I guess I grew up always thinking the Lakers were the biggest deal.
Showtime.
In LA, right? But they're not. It's the Dodgers by a long way. Yeah.
I think it's actually probably a really good time to insert why we're actually talking about this now.
Yeah.
So I'm late to the party. I will be the first to admit that we went to a Yankees game earlier this year, but kind of went there going, just need to go to Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, you just want to go, right?
Now I've seen that, and maybe...
Which can I just say, Nate? They sell tickets. I don't know if you had this option, but they sell tickets at Yankee Stadium where you don't buy a seat. You just walk around.
Oh, the walking ones.
The roaming ones, and they're super cheap. So
Wow.
you don't like, and then when there's a free seat that comes up, like you can just
go and sit in it.
Go and sit in it if
That's
you want
pretty
to.
cool.
Yeah. So easily sell it different ways. Anyway, sorry, Brook. You were saying.
It was very handy. So obviously, watched the Yankees. That was great. Had a little bit of love for it, and then Marc, I don't know if it was you or how it came along, but just jumped on board this Shohei Ohtani train. I'll be honest with you, I have a man crush. I haven't watched baseball in my life. I've watched innings. I've watched games over the last 2 months, and we've kind of met at this intersection now because it's the World Series.
Yeah.
And this is it has to be the two biggest teams, right? Like, explain it to me like this. I would have thought it's the Yankees definitely, and then is it the Red Sox, or is it Yankees versus the Dodgers is the biggest thing you can have?
It's either of them,
Right.
really. You know what I mean? It's like, there's 30 teams, and these teams are old. Like, they're really, really, really old. They're more than 100 years old each. So, yeah, the Brooklyn one is the Dodgers one is, if you ever listen to Wu-Tang, they put in a Brooklyn Dodgers as many times as they can, right? So that's the old traditional New York battle, more so than the Mets. Like, they look at the Mets like, it's nice, they're sort of new, but they don't have that same, the same
That
sort
was
of
the
thing.
energy we got while we were in New York too.
Yeah. So them and the Red Sox are really the two biggest.
He's
unreal.
Yeah. So Shohei.
Yeah.
Run us through and run me through, because I was amazed at watching him bat.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible what he was doing. And then Marc was like, well, did you know he pitched?
He's a better pitcher.
And I was like, no, he doesn't pitch. You can't. That's not how this thing works. He's like, no, he's better at pitching than what he is doing batting. He is just, run me through the hybrid of who this guy is.
He's Gretzky good.
Okay.
Which Marc will know that for me is as big as it gets, because everyone goes, oh, Jordan's the greatest. No, Gretzky is miles better than anyone at his sport, right? But then that's where Shohei is. So because it's too hard to be a good pitcher and a good hitter.
Yeah.
Like, it's just too hard. And they talk about Babe Ruth, but Babe Ruth didn't do it in the same seasons. So he was a hitter or he was a pitcher when he came in. But Shohei does them both at the same time, and that's called a two-way player. And you'll get some of them maybe, but not ones who are top 5 in both. Like, that's ridiculous. And he also, when he fields out in right field. So when he can throw it to third base right into the glove, that's 110 metres. He's throwing that thing. Like, this man is hitting.
See, those are the graphics I need to see.
He's hitting 160-metre home runs. He's so much better than the others. There's a real cool, but this guy, Mookie Betts, who plays for the Dodgers.
He hits off second.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, I've been watching now.
So he's right behind him. Mookie is an all-star.
But skinny though, isn't he?
He's little.
Yeah, skinnier than I thought.
And it was quite neat. And there was some really good stuff they showed in, because I was so excited, because so the last few seasons the Dodgers have been jockeying to get this guy, right? So they've been sort of trying to get him in, and we missed on some of the big players. And you're like, oh, why didn't we get Giancarlo Stanton? Why didn't we get this guy? Because they were cleverly
waiting.
Well, what they were doing is they were upping the price and letting their competitors basically not have the ability to equal them once Shohei came on the market.
So spending all the competitors' money.
Yeah, that's why they did it. Yeah, and that's what Andrew Freeman did, who's the new manager. And they
checkers.
Yeah, they just went all in with him and they got him. But his ability to. It's the way he hits, like he's got a real particular batting stance, you see, too.
Yeah, he stands upright, right?
Yeah, really upright, and he does it, but if you notice, you have a look, he doesn't take a backswing. So his left foot, like when American hitters do it, they lift up a foot and then they put it down.
Yeah.
So if you've played cricket, you know that thing of step into the ball and hit it? That's what they go with, right? But he's more like a golfer in that you'll see him and he'll choose it, and when he sees the ball that he wants, have a look at his front heel, because it turns. And it turns up, and then that's just where the torque comes from, and then it swings around, and that's why. So what's happening is
that was hot. Whatever you just explained, that was sexy.
Well, it just means that because he's not lifting and swinging, he's got extra time to see where the ball is, so he can pick it later. And that's really it. So
it's such a minute.
It's minute, yeah. They reckon it's the hardest thing to do. I don't know if you guys have been down to the batting cage and tried to hit 100 miles an hour. You just can't, right?
I just don't even see it.
And these guys are doing it, and it's moving too. So, I mean, even for him, like, he can't pitch this year because he's got that Tommy John surgery where you throw so hard you rip your bicep off. Yep. And they drill a hole in the bone and they pull the bicep through and let it
hang,
sort of reattach.
But he's hitting with that.
Yeah, well, because he's left-handed, so he just hits that way, and it was real weird watching him, because I'm all excited.
Wait, does he pitch with his right?
Yeah.
Wait, he pitches with his right but hits with his left?
Yeah, it's more advantageous.
Dude, it's him, bro.
But that's it.
Like, I knew he was him, but I'm every day finding out more.
It's more advantageous to bat left-handed because you're closer to first base. So that's why they'll do it.
You know what hand he writes with?
Yeah. I don't know. I think a right hand, I suppose. It seems what he high fives with. But
that's amazing, bro.
So, Nato, talk to us about the World Series. So we've seen a record price for tickets being sold. We've seen
Didn't you say it was $35,000 for the most expensive ticket?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the ones down behind, where Larry King and you see Jason Bateman and all that sit down there, and
they're expecting a record viewership. This is the World Series that they've been wanting for a while, like a real two big major teams.
Yeah.
We're seeing a massive Japanese audience because of Shohei and what he brings to the game.
Yeah.
It just feels like this is something to be really excited about. That kind of in a way, and this is a very lame comparison, but it feels like what we got in the NRL. We got the two best teams. We got two massive rosters. Let's see them go at it.
Yeah.
7 games. What are you expecting?
Lakers, Celtics, right? Man. That's the energy I'm getting.
Best of 7.
Honestly, our pitching staff is so banged up, and by that, you take it. You got 28 on your roster, and you got 5 starting pitchers, and they're your aces. So normally Shohei would be one injured. But there's a whole bunch of names anyway. Like we had 14 injured guys, so they've only got 2 starting pitchers, and that's been what's been quite amazing about the Dodgers is you see them against San Diego, you're like, oh, we'll be okay, but oh man, this game we don't even have a starting pitcher. It's all the dudes from the bullpen pitch it.
Yeah,
whereas the Yankees come in a lot more healthy. They've got their own giant who hits the ball to other cities.
Yeah, one ball landed just over here just before.
Aaron Judge, that's a giant. What's he, 6'8"? He's a giant.
He was huge, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like Shohei is tall. He's 6'4.5", I think. Like he's quite a big guy, but he's certainly not as big as that. But they've got Juan Soto, they've got Stanton. Like they at the top of their order as well. And this is what's so exciting is you've got 2 teams with awesome firepower through their entire lineup. And the Dodgers, in a way, have probably a couple of power hitters, not as many power hitters as the Yankees do, but they're quite good at the little dink hits and getting on base.
Yep.
And then I think you guys were saying, I don't know what Shohei was he 16 of 18 when there's runners on in scoring positions? Yeah, because you get pitched differently if there's no one on base. Like the sort of variety of pitches is different, but because it narrows down of what they can get away with, he's just waiting on those balls. And he sees them, and then when they come, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah. I interviewed a guy who played for the Red Sox once, and I was like saying, how do you pick, though? Because, the ball, they've got either a fastball or the 2-seam.
And it changes halfway through.
Yeah, which goes out, or,
right,
the splitter, which is just a fastball, but they split their fingers really wide across it. So it goes like a fastball for 3/4 and then just goes, eh. Yep. And that's the one that comes under, right? Or they're moving it, or they're throwing it like a corkscrew, whatever.
Yep.
I was going, how do you tell? He said, "Oh, what you do is get up there and then you wait for wait for a fastball, and when I see it, I hit it." I'm like, how? And he goes, "Oh, well, because when it's spinning, the ball is pink, but when it's not rotating, it's white." And I'm like, cool. So how do you see that? Hey, but that's the level that these guys are at. It'll be an amazing series. Like, I think it's almost one of those ones where I think the Yankees would go in probably as the favourites because they're more healthy.
Right.
But then this Dodgers team just keep coming back and winning. This has been a fun year for me to watch. Cool.
I'm not going to go with your head or your heart because I think we know what you'll do. But
Dodgers heart,
yeah. But tell me why the Yankees will win, and then tell me why the Dodgers can win.
The Yankees will win because their pitching is too good, and their starting pitching is so good that it keeps the Dodgers down. Because the Dodgers can lose because they don't have their ace pitchers,
right,
which means they're tending to give away more runs.
3 up, 3 down.
Yeah. So I mean, if you go between 3 and 4 runs, that's about average, right?
Right.
But if you're facing the Dodgers, you can't let them get like that. Whereas it's like the Dodgers pitching. They're like they say to them, please, if you can keep it under 5, we can win this. Because that's what they're scoring in 6s and 10s or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think. I think it's the pitching.
You know what, Nato? I take it seriously when I start purchasing Shohei cards.
Oh, I saw
I've got a couple of them, and then the one that I will not take out of the vault now.
That's so beautiful.
Here's my thinking, right? This is a type of card that not only has American and global people excited, but the Japanese market, when it comes to trinkets, like that.
They
That's
love
an
a trinket,
investment.
eh?
They do indeed.
Yeah.
So, and I'm absolutely fizzed for this World Series. The first time I've ever been fizzed for a World Series.
Yeah,
simply
it's
because
fun.
I'm watching.
The casuals, right? This is the one for the casuals who can actually have some buy-in here.
Yeah.
And just so happens that it's got our favourite player in it in Shohei, but we're also going and seeing a team that we watched earlier in the year.
Foot in both
the
camps in this
Yeah,
one.
for the both.
Yeah.
It's fun. Look, my fun bit of I like the pitching. The fun bit is I'm just always trying to guess which one it is. Oh, bottom left. No. Oh, top right. No, you know what I mean? That's even a fun thing to do. But no, man, it's been cool to. Good to hear. Good to hear enjoying it. It's fun, man.
On board, man.
On board. Thank you, Nate. Thank you for your time,
Thank
brother.
you.
Always appreciate it.
Hey, I got a card for you.
Hey.
Brooke said I could have it.
Leon.
Lamborghini. Look at the speed! Shaun Johnson! Aguero! It's over! Pass is intercepted at the goal line. In your life have you seen anything like that? Elliott hits it up in the grandstand! And New Zealand are in the World Cup final!
Leon.